I might get emotional talking about this movie. I already am. Because this was the last Marvel movie I watched with my father before he died. And we loved it. I'm finally ranking the MCU. 52 projects. I have had this channel dedicated to Marvel since 2018, and I have never done this video. I've never ranked the MCU, but you all have been asking for it, so here we are. Also, this is my personal list. I didn't look at any of like the audience scores, Rotten Tomatoes, anything like that. I didn't watch other channels do this or anything. It's clearly what I love, what I like. Definitely not going to be the same as yours. Maybe it is, but it's my birthday today, so you can't give me crap for it. Obviously kidding. Totally roast me, but this is legitimately how I feel, what I've enjoyed the most watching these films. So let's get into it. Number 52, the last one, She-Hulk. She-Hulk was not for me. I didn't really like how they just made her better than the Hulk automatically. Not a lot of character development there. The first episode I thought was actually okay and was going to... I had hoped that it was going to be a pretty good show, but for me, the ending really just was bad to me. I hated the ending. I hated some things they did, like with Daredevil. And don't get me wrong, I can understand some of it's supposed to be lighthearted and fun, but mixed in with the silliness was also, they were trying to push like a really serious message. Didn't work for me. I didn't like it. And I also do want to say, just because I like something, I would never like dog or crap on anybody for liking something. If you like these projects that I kind of put at the bottom, good for you. I wish I liked everything. Unfortunately, I don't. All love, no hate. Number 51, Secret Invasion. Oh, for those who have read or even just know about the Secret Invasion comic story, this is just, it was so off. It was so far from what Secret Invasion was supposed to be. I didn't mind when I first heard Secret Invasion was going to be a show. I didn't mind that. I thought, okay, yeah, it's a really big event. It's going to take some episodes. It's going to take some time to tell this story. The first couple episodes I thought were pretty great. The spy espionage type of stuff was really cool, especially when we're talking about the Skrull. But it just ended up being really bad with Gaia and with Nick Fury's character development, how they wrote him and some characters that had died just really wasn't for me. 51. 50. The Marvels. This movie felt like it just really went through a lot, and yeah, we heard it went through a lot as it was. We heard, and I don't know how true this is, but a lot of what we heard was the director wasn't really familiar with a lot of other Marvel projects. To me, the villain just wasn't really enticing villain. There were a lot of weird scenes, like the dancing and the singing planet and stuff like that, and I didn't really feel the chemistry, even though I don't mind the actresses. I like them all individually, and I thought Kamala Khan was the best part of this movie. I am excited to see them all return, but this movie was a big miss for me. 49. Echo. This didn't need to be made into a solo project. Some of the stuff was really cool. It really was cool. And I'm part Choctaw Native American, actually. So I definitely was like interested in it, but I don't think it was done very well. I thought she was better in Hawkeye, and we'll get to that. But Echo, 49. 48, Ironheart. This really wasn't for me. I was really bored through a lot of it, and I was actually texting other people going, hey, are you as bored as I am with Ironheart, or do you like it? And a lot of the people I talked to, they're like, I'm really bored for this. And if you liked it, great. To me, the best part was, spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen it, the ending, Mephisto. That was the best part. The Hood had some cool moments, but overall, I just didn't really like the direction they took it. And honestly, I didn't like Ironheart in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So going into this, I tried to keep an open mind, but I got pretty much the same feeling I got from her character the entire time. Didn't enjoy it. 47, perhaps one of the biggest disappointments ever, Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor Ragnarok was amazing. Thor: Love and Thunder was a disappointment because we should have gotten more of Ragnarok, and not more as in more jokes and more silliness, which is what they did, but just more as in improving on what was already such a great movie. But Thor: Love and Thunder went way too overboard. They went way too far, way too extreme with the jokes, and then just weird premises like with the whole thing with Zeus, the orgy, like just all this weird stuff. Christian Bale was just wasted. Right? And I don't know, it should have just been a masterpiece of a movie Instead, they just turned it into a joke, which I hate. And that's why it's at 47. 46, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. This one was a tough one for me to put so low. Overall, I don't like the story. There's some cool parts to it. But to have your big bad, King the Conqueror, be defeated by ants after you showed him in the movie just obliterating people, obliterating planets, a lot of them, he loses to ants. How does that make sense? I really don't like that. It focused on so many characters when it really should have just focused on Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? Because it's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. But it had so many different moving pieces to it, and the story, I didn't like the story. I kind of didn't like just like the world of the quantum realm, how they depicted it. I also feel like Bill Murray was wasted, even though I just always loved Bill Murray. But yeah, a lot of wasted potential here because I thought the King parts were actually really good with his acting, when he's like, have I killed you before? Because, they all blur together. A lot of cool parts in it, but overall not put together very well. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, number 45. This is another one that I thought started off okay with like the first episode or two, but then just turned into this really weird thing that ended terribly to me. And I really do like the Falcon, or now Captain America, and the Winter Soldier. I love the characters. They've been around, since the beginning. I love them. I just didn't think this was good, unfortunately. I feel like it had potential in the beginning, but when they took it off and you have to do better. I mean, again, I'm not here to just crap on things and just talk crap about them, but yeah, 45. 44, another just like wasted potential. 44 is Black Widow, a movie that should have happened probably in phase 2. I mean, you could even say phase 1, but she was introduced in the Iron Man movies, and I thought that was done really well. She could have gotten her own movie, or maybe even like they could have done a Black Widow and Hawkeye movie in phase 2, right? But I definitely think she could have carried her own movie. I think there were good parts to Black Widow, but the CGI was really bad. The retconning of Taskmaster, the story overall, there were good parts, but overall it just wasn't the best. And I feel like we could have had that movie just years and years before. They waited way too long. 43, Captain Marvel. The movie did a lot of money. It made a lot of money, but I think that's just because when it came out, right before Avengers Endgame, right? So the hype, that was the all-time high for hype for Marvel Studios. So yeah, of course it made a lot of money. And it was fine. I don't hate the movie by any means. It's just not my favorite. I do like the character Captain Marvel, and I've actually always been a Brie Larson fan. I'm not a fan of how she portrayed her in the movie, but that might not be all her. That could have been the direction as well. But I feel like we could eventually get like a really good Captain Marvel in the MCU. 42, Thor: The Dark World. Some cool parts to this. It's definitely emotional. Thor is my favorite MCU character, Thor and the Scarlet Witch. So I'm a sucker for Thor. I really am. But this movie has flaws, obviously. They introduced some really cool stuff, and I did like the dynamic with Loki and Thor there coming together because of their mother, fueled by revenge, how Loki says, "Trust my rage," and the whole thing that they did. There's good parts to it, but overall not the best film. 41, Captain America: Brave New World. This had potential. It really did. I wish they really put Sam in more of a leadership position for the new Avengers in this film. If you watched it, you could tell it was chopped up a lot, right? And it's been confirmed at this point in time. The script changed multiple times. It's been chopped up, right? I think they did the best with what they possibly could at the end. And it is definitely not Anthony Mackie's fault that this movie did not perform well. I think he did the best job he possibly could given the circumstances. I wish it was just better at setting up Sam Wilson as the new Captain America in a bigger way. I really didn't feel like he was the leader of the new Avengers team by the end. They just kind of hinted at it. 40. Might get crap for this, but Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And we're kind of basically now entering the zone of these movies are okay. They're not bad movies, right? But it's a whole list of 52, so we got to rank them. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The first time I saw it, I'm not going to lie, I shed some tears. I did, because of Chadwick Boseman. And I thought it was pretty good the first time I saw it. But when I watched it again, and it wasn't all about what are they going to do now that Chadwick's gone? How are they going to handle this with the new Black Panther or not? I watched it a second time and I was actually pretty bored. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but I think I would have liked more from it. And honestly, I think they should have recast T'Challa. No disrespect to Chadwick Boseman at all. I really loved him as an actor. I love watching the projects he's done before. He's great. He's a phenomenal actor, and I understand why they didn't, but I think they should have. 39, Ant-Man. I'm a big Paul Rudd fan, and I like Paul Rudd's humor, and I just think he's funny. I think he's very likable, which bleeds into the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best movie, but I do enjoy it. And I thought it was a good start. It connected, to the overall MCU. Like, speaking of Falcon/Captain America, we had that scene with him. It was pretty cool. Yeah, 39. Yeah. So I'm going to go 38 and 37. Kind of 2 and 1 here. Iron Man 3 and Iron Man 2. You can pick apart these movies, sure, but again, that's not what we're here to do. I will say there's a lot of aspects to these films that I like. Iron Man 3, you really detach Tony Stark from the Iron Man suit, which, yeah, totally. Like, I kind of see where you're coming from, but also at the same time, it's like, it's an Iron Man movie. We want him in the suit. It's cool to see Tony Stark's mind work and, makeshift stuff. And Harley and everything. Like, that was cool. Overall, didn't like some decisions they made, I mean, I think we all, I don't know about the Mandarin, to me it was just like, that was something. That was something. But then Iron Man 2, some really cool moments. The suiting up scene was cool. But how they decided to go about certain things, Whiplash and everything like that. Hammer, interesting choices made. Again, I like these movies. Just because they're low on the list doesn't mean that I don't like them. We're in that spot now where I like the movies that we're going to mention from here on out. They're pretty much going to go from like good to great to fantastic now. So Iron Man 3, 38, Iron Man 2 at 37, and at 36, might get crap for this too, The Eternals. Slow movie, for sure. Pacing could have been handled a lot better, but I did find it very interesting, and I actually did enjoy it. The cast is crazy big, obviously, and I think they could have gone a little bit more into like some individual characters, maybe spread the story out a bit better. There were a lot of really cool moments in this, and like for the overall bigger picture of the MCU, I thought it was really cool. The Celestials, that ending scene is really cool with Arishem, the Celestial, where he says he's going to return for judgment. That was freaking cool. I wish Galactus was portrayed like that. I did really love Galactus in Fantastic Four First Steps, but I wish we saw him just bigger than the Earth, right? Like we saw Arishem. Pacing issues, if they would have fixed a few things, and they retcon like the Eternals and the Deviants and stuff like that, but if they would have fixed some pacing issues and just went a little bit in a different direction, it would have been a great movie. 35, The Incredible Hulk. We're talking about it, right? Because not a lot of people think this is an MCU project. It is, right? Edward Norton. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent Hulk movie. I enjoyed watching it. I haven't really watched it in a very long time. I did try to watch as many of these as I could before doing this. Mostly the ones where I like, how do I feel about that? The Hulk, Incredible Hulk, we get a new one in the Avengers, but the movie itself isn't bad. It's a good watch. 34, Miss Marvel. I love Iman Vellani as Miss Marvel / Kamala Khan. I thought the show was fun, but I thought as you got towards the end, the latter episodes, the writing really fell apart. I was having a lot of fun in the beginning. Iman Vellani really is just a likable character. I feel like the whole cast was just really likable, but I feel like the show just fell apart the more you got into it, which was a bummer. But she shined in the Marvels, and I think she's going to shine in Doomsday or Secret Wars, wherever she pops up next. I definitely think she survives the reboot of the MCU. So 33, Werewolf by Night. This was a big surprise for me. If you don't know, I don't really like horror movies or like horror-esque movies. It wasn't really like a horror film, but that stuff's not for me, right? Gore's not for me. Any type of ghost stuff or monsters and stuff, I don't really get into. It actually makes me feel kind of weird. I watched this and I thought, oh my gosh, that was really good. I was actually really surprised. And I hope we see more of the cast, more of the characters come back in future episodes like the Midnight Suns. 32, Hawkeye. this was fun. It was a fun show. And seeing Kate Bishop, come in, Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, I thought was fun. I thought it was cool to see more of Hawkeye. I thought it was cool to see him be forced. Jeremy Renner recently said, as long as Hawkeye's in the MCU, he's retired, but can always come back until he's dead. So I thought it was funny to kind of see him be forced into all of this. I thought Echo was good in the project. I don't think she should have got her own project. She was good in the project. The Kingpin story was good. It opened, connecting it to the Avengers film, which was really, really cool. Hawkeye, with Kate Bishop saving her as a kid. I thought it was really cool. And I thought it was really fun. And it was in a good Christmas spirit, which I'm a sucker for, to be honest. So yeah. 31. Agatha All Along was very pleasantly surprised with this project. I almost said film. This show. Very pleasantly surprised. Catherine Hahn I love. She's an awesome actress. She's played some really great roles. The witch thing, like I said, I'm not too into that. And there were some times where I was like, I don't like this. But it was, I'm an adult-ish. I thought it was fine. So I was pleasantly surprised with this. The Witch's Road song got stuck in my head. I thought that was a banger. Still do. The whole thing with the Scarlet Witch and Billy. Overall, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great show. I really did. But I did prefer number 30, a little bit more, Daredevil Born Again. It was so cool to see Daredevil return in the MCU. Not just Matt Murdock from, Spider-Man No Way Home. But to see Daredevil in the MCU, the same Daredevil with the same story thing, goodness, they decided to make it all connect with Kingpin. That whole story was really, really cool. They made some interesting decisions in there, right? And there were some episodes that got a little slow, but the Punisher being in it as well. It was crazy good. Just a crazy good feeling to have everybody back. And I thought there were some just insane parts. The opening 2 episodes were just literally insane. And I really love that show. All right, number 29. I'm going to get crap for this, I think, but Moon Knight. I just recently found out that not a lot of people like this show, but I really like this show. I like Oscar Isaac. I like Moon Knight. I liked where they went with the show. It's not perfect, but I really like the show. And I think I want to explore, I wish Marvel would explore more of that, mythological side of the MCU, like the Egyptian gods and stuff. They kind of dove into it a little bit. And yeah, there were some goofy moments in it. But overall, I actually really enjoyed this show. Yeah. 28, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like I said, I really like Paul Rudd. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than the first one. I thought this show was really funny. You got a lot from Louise and the gang and everything like that. And the Baba Yaga part with Ghost and everything. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it probably more than most people, I guess. But again, Paul Rudd and his daughter and Jimmy Woo, everybody, I just thought it was just really cool. 27, Thor. And now we're getting into the part where pretty much everything's really just a good movie now. I think most people will agree, from here on out, everything is pretty much just good. With the maybe exception of Thor, because it gets some crap sometime. But the first Thor movie I actually really liked. I remember watching it for the very first time. I remember how I felt, because again, Thor's been my favorite character. I grew up reading comics. I've watched all the animated stuff growing up as well. And then I've always followed the MCU. Once it started, I was looking forward to this so much. And to me, when I watched it, it didn't disappoint me. And I can still rewatch this. And yeah, it's a different Thor. Well, it's definitely a different Thor than Thor Love and Thunder, that's for sure. But geez, that's a big difference. But I like this. I like the whole thing with Odin. I liked his character development. I liked Loki, the Bifrost, everything. I just thought it was cool. I love the movie. 26. This would probably be, I'm not going to do the animated shows. I'm doing only things that really connect to the MCU. I will say, just real quick, I'll take a brief detour. I did love X-Men 97. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I thought was okay. And I've never really been a big fan of the what ifs. Just haven't. Some are really good. There's some really good episodes, but just overall, not something I would ever choose to watch again. X-Men 97, I would. And I'm excited for season 2. But 26 is kind of the exception. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Because it is in the MCU. And I think it's just great. I think it's fun. I think it's a good Christmas spirit, holiday spirit. It makes you feel good. The Kevin Bacon thing is funny because of the previous Guardian film, So I like it. It's a feel-good movie, but with the characters that we know and love. It's great. 25. Spider-Man Homecoming. Yes, Spider-Man Homecoming is my least favorite of the three. I obviously still love the film. It's at 25. But it is my least favorite of the three. However, awesome. Spider-Man in the MCU after Civil War, of course. Getting to really know Tom Holland as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man. Vulture, Tony Stark in it. I mean, I don't got to tell you why it's a great movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, 25. All right. Hold on. Where am I? Okay. 24. This might be higher than some people's lists. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Yes, I know the Illuminati got destroyed and they very much underestimated Wanda, dreamwalking, spaghettification of Mr. Fantastic, but it's still a really cool movie. Yeah, people like myself and other YouTubers, we hyped it up thinking there was going to be a lot of cameos, in which, if you think about it, like there were, but there weren't like 20 plus like we kind of thought it was going to be, because we thought it was going to be more multiversal. We thought we were going to see a lot more worlds that they spent time in, but really it wasn't. It was just primarily like 838 in our main universe, and then the one that was destroyed with Sinister Strange. But overall, I actually really like this movie. The only thing I will say is, although there have been times where the Avengers and the X-Men and everybody go after the Scarlet Witch in the comics, I didn't really like seeing this development for Wanda. And I found out that she didn't know she was the villain of the movie until like 3 weeks until they were about to film, which is not cool. But overall, like visually, it's a cool movie. The story, you can make it make sense, right? But yeah, I am looking forward to what the next part for Doctor Strange is in Avengers Doomsday and the Scarlet Witch as well. 23. This also might be higher than most people. Avengers Age of Ultron. I remember watching this in the theaters and thinking that it was a really good movie at the time. And I still do. I can rewatch this and there's some really cool parts, like Bruce Banner and Tony Stark creating Ultron and just going over everything. And when Ultron first comes out and they're all sitting together, the lifting of Thor's hammer, which I don't know if at the time they decided this, but they have gone back in time and said, yeah, at that point in time, Steve could have lifted the hammer. He chose not to for Thor. But we get Vision, we get Ultron, we get the Scarlet Witch, we get Quicksilver. I wish they didn't kill Quicksilver off because I really wanted the dynamic between Wanda and Pietro. But they did. That's a choice. It's a great movie to me. I'm not apologizing for anything on this list. This is how I feel. I don't get why I get so much hate. I guess because of just comic stories and Ultron and everything like that. But Ultron's coming back because that's the thing with Ultron. He shouldn't really be able to be killed, and looks like he's not. So 22, the Thunderbolts. I did really enjoy this movie. Yes, they got pretty deep on it. And the final scene wasn't super action-packed, but there's so many great parts to this movie that I love. I actually do love that Yelena gets very vulnerable throughout it. I like that Red Guardian is the comedic relief. I like Bucky because I like the Winter Soldier. I actually really like John Walker. Ghost. They killed Taskmaster. They probably should have kept her in. That was kind of middle finger to her character, I would think, right? She died just so soon. But the action that we did get was really cool. Sentry. Oh, okay. So if the final scene that we got for this movie was like that Sentry scene where he fought everybody and just beat the crap out of them, if we got a final scene like that, it would have been higher on my list and higher in a lot of other people's lists, I think, as well. If we had like Sentry physically fighting the Void, I think that would have been really, really cool. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for like, hey, we're friends, but we're actually family, right? Just because we're not family doesn't mean we're family, and we'll come together and always be there for you. I like it and can appreciate it. I just think the ending should have been more action focused. But 21, Spider-Man Far From Home. Mysterio was really cool. I like how they did Mysterio. I like it overall. And it was pretty emotional because Tony Stark just died. They did a really good job at showing that with the murals and everything. They showed Peter's struggle, right? And it was funny, where MJ, it was like, you're Spider-Man, stuff like that. Yeah, it was, again, I don't got to tell you why this was a great movie, but I really did love Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. I will say they did kind of tease us a little bit with the multiverse, saying he was from the, another universe and everything like that, when it didn't actually end up being the case. But who knew that was really, I mean, I guess we still count that as part of Infinity War, or the Infinity Saga. I was going to say, it's kind of the first project in the multiverse saga, but it's actually really the last project of the Infinity Saga. So number 20, we're getting in the top 20 now. People always ask me, what's your top 20? What's your top 10, top 5 MCU movies? Well, here you go. 20, Captain America, the first Avenger. What can I say about this movie that hasn't been said already? It's fantastic. Chris Evans as Captain America, fantastic. The whole story, just with everything, fantastic. We're in a really weird territory now where everything else we're going to talk about is pretty fantastic. But Captain America, the first Avenger, I loved it. The introduction of Chris Evans to the MCU and Captain America to the MCU. And he's returning now, or so we're hearing. It's a rumor, but looks pretty legit that he's coming back in Doomsday. Can't wait for that. 19, the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four space scenes were incredible. Incredible. It's Marvel's first family in the MCU. I really love Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I'm okay with Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I do feel like they could have picked somebody else, and I actually would have preferred John Krasinski. But hey, I think Pedro did a great job. I think the whole cast did a great job. I like that they gave Johnny something to do rather than just being kind of a side character. I think they could have gone into more depth with the Thing. But overall, it was a really great movie. Galactus in the beginning was just incredible. You felt like, holy crap, it's Galactus. He was so powerful in the beginning. He was so just scary in the beginning. And then the space scene of the Silver Surfer chasing them after was incredible. The black hole and everything. Yeah, the ending, I think, could have been stronger. I really do. With the way they defeated Galactus, I probably would have preferred like an Ultimate Nullifier story, like in the comics. But overall, I really did love the movie. Not perfect, but I loved it. 18. Black Panther. Chadwick, I wish he was still here. Black Panther is an amazing movie. It's actually the second, I believe the Black Panther post-credit scene was the second video I ever did on this channel. I really love Boseman as Black Panther. I think he was perfect. It's unfortunate that he's gone. But this movie is fantastic. The whole world of Wakanda, I think, is just so awesome. So cool. And like the ancestral plane and everything. Killmonger. I wish they didn't kill Killmonger. I really wish they didn't kill Killmonger. Or like Claw and everything like that. Like, it was interesting choices they made, but overall, just a great movie. 17 and 16. This is going to be a twofer. Can you guess them? 17, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 16, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Okay. Real quick. I know a lot of people think Guardians Volume 3 might be the best one. I get really weirded out when I see things that are like half living organism, half cyborg, like mechanics mixed with like actual living flesh and blood and stuff, kind of freaks me out. Therefore, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is my least favorite. I still, of course, think it's a great film. I do. The whole stuff with Rocket and Layla, and it was all just really emotional. I thought they were all going to die. They didn't. It was nice. They did all split, but in a good way. The Guardians are great, but Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, this stuff with Yondu, and being his father, he's not his father, but he is his father, right? The Mary Poppins scene, Mantis being introduced, Ego. I know it's kind of a different take, but still, like, these movies are fantastic. They really are. And I haven't mentioned Guardians 1. Where will it wind up? But 15, Doctor Strange. Loved this movie. And Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Who else? I can't picture it. It's like Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. I can't picture anybody else. I think he's a great Stephen Strange. And I think just everything that they did with Doctor Strange was great. I loved it for an origin story of Doctor Strange. And we got the Dormammu of Come to Bargain scene that is still used to this day in many memes and probably always will be. But I thought it was a great start for Doctor Strange. 14. If I was not including shows, this would be in my top 10. But since I am, it is 14. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I love this movie so much. Honestly, this has moved like in and out of like top 5, top 10, because I watch things and I'm like, man, this movie's so good. But I recently rewatched Shang-Chi And it's an amazing movie. An amazing, amazing movie. I really love it. The action is incredible. I feel like the sentiment is there, especially like with his mother and with Wen Wu. And then you got Trevor Slattery in it. And yeah, overall, I just think it's an amazing movie. My only qualm with it now, after watching it a few times, is I wish the ending wasn't kind of, like such a CGI battle, and I actually wish it was more of like an actual martial arts battle. But I do really love how they did it. It's unfortunate that when Wu died and his mother died, but I do love how they did finish it with the dragon and the monster and everything like that. I love this movie just so much. It probably deserves to be higher on my list, honestly, but there's just so many great movies we're about to go over, and TV shows as well. So 13, WandaVision. I love this show. I really do love this show. Wanda comes back. Vision comes back. She creates her kid. It's like kind of House of M. Kind of. I do really want a real House of M in the MCU, especially when we get the X-Men in it. I really think that's what we should build to with the Scarlet Witch. And this led off to Agatha All Along, and it led off to what's coming, Vision Quest, and I think everyone's about to be reunited, including the Scarlet Witch. But this story was such a mystery, and of course the Mephisto stuff, everybody knows. I was such a big person in that of making everybody think it was Mephisto. Sorry, not sorry. Mephisto totally fit in the plot and has everything to do with her children's souls in the comics, right? Didn't end up happening. We have him now, but the whole story of WandaVision was weird, but exciting and mysterious. We really didn't know what was going to happen. Then you had Paul Bettany talking about he's worked with an actor he's always admired, and it ended up being him. Respect, Paul. But yeah, I just thought this was a great show. I like Loki a little bit more, which is why WandaVision is at 13. Loki season 2 is at 12, and Loki season 1 is at 11. My favorite show from the MCU, Loki's arc, just as a character, from starting with Thor to being this villain to going on and becoming the main villain of Avengers and slowly kind of getting good through his brother Thor up into the point where he is good, sacrifices himself, gets killed by Thanos, and then we get this variant of him that goes through so much, and just to see him from where he started to where he is now, literally making the Yggdrasil tree, which is crazy, is awesome. Plus the story I actually did truly love, really getting into the multiverse, getting into the variants. He Who Remains was, I thought, epic. And that's why I'm sad to this day that Kang isn't the main villain, because I thought what they set up with He Who Remains was so good. And even in the second season as well, just what they set up where he's like, reincarnation, baby. You think I was really going to give it up? Like, I thought, oh man, they're setting up so much to this. And then in the second season, Loki kind of going back through time for centuries, like literally centuries, to be smart enough to do everything, trying to save his friends, give people free will, but also Sylvie, and he's in love with Sylvie, but it's also him. So it's kind of weird. Like, there's so much of the show that I love, and the introduction of the TVA in general, them saying the Infinity Stones were nothing after we just went through a whole saga of them saying that Thanos getting the Infinity Stones, doing everything to the universe, wiping out half of it, and their paperweights in this. I just love Loki a little bit more than WandaVision, but I love both. Number 10, here we go, top 10. Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. The first Iron Man is amazing. I think they did his origin very well. And to think it's one of the best movies visually to ever come from Marvel in the MCU, and it was the first movie to start off the MCU, it's actually pretty crazy. Just an incredibly good movie, and who knew with that first movie what it would launch? The entirety of the MCU going to the Avengers film, to Avengers Infinity War, Endgame. Now he's returning as Doom. Just crazy. Actually crazy. And, the Iron Man theme song and everything, him shooting the missiles and walking away, just his whole character development as well, but keeping the cocky, not even arrogant, because he is a genius, right? But just the swagger, even though he does become humble, but he doesn't really lose who he is at the same time. There's just so much of this movie to love. Number 10. Number 9, Deadpool and Wolverine. I know I'm going to get crap for putting that over Iron Man. I already know it, but I love this movie because it's got action and comedy, which are my two favorite things, right? Yes, the story sometimes you feel could have been deeper. And I get that, but there are so many amazing moments from this movie. I laughed the entire time. It did get emotional too with Wolverine, and then Blade and Elektra and Gambit coming in that scene. And it's all very much my type of humor. I will say that the funny Gambit stuff, it's very much my type of humor. Ryan Reynolds' type of humor is very much my type of humor. I've watched this movie pretty close to 10 times and I'm laughing so much each and every time. And I love the action. So overall, like I said, how I feel inside, I love this movie. So that's number 9. Number 8, Captain America Civil War. This movie is just another Avengers movie to me because it's just so big, such a massive scale. And it gave us Black Panther and Spider-Man. Gosh, this movie was so epic. It is epic. And then the ending where it's the Winter Soldier and Captain America fighting Iron Man with the shield, throwing it back and forth. I mean, I don't got to tell you why this movie is amazing. It really is just amazing. And again, introducing Black Panther, introducing Spider-Man. I mean, what a film. It's not like Civil War in the comics, right? But I think the movie, for what it was done exceptionally well by the Russo brothers. Stephen McFeely, Christopher Marcus coming back, with the exception of Christopher Marcus coming back for Doomsday, The Secret War. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, this was one of just the coolest theater experiences, Civil War. And number 7, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This is might be a little bit higher on some people's list, but gosh, what a movie. Action wise, it's phenomenal. I'm trying, like, hand-to-hand shooting action-wise, the best in the MCU. Has to be, I think, right? But that's not, including like Iron Man things and stuff like that, Thor's hammer, different powers, but like actual grounded combat, and then Hydra and everything, some twist that we got with Black Widow. I mean, this movie, when you think of amazing MCU movies that aren't giant team-up films, I'll give it that, right? That aren't giant team-up films. When you think of just the best, you think of Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And it gave us Bucky back, right? So, love it. Okay. Almost in the top 5, but top 6, the Avengers. I cannot tell you how I felt watching the first trailer for this movie. It was the coolest thing to me. I was so excited, and for months, it was all I could think about. And when they came together, it did not disappoint at all. And I saw this so many times in theaters. And this is before I had a channel. This is just me being just a crazy fan, which I still am today. I watched it so many times, like at least 6 times in theaters, really. It was amazing to see these characters come together. And that was the first really big thing that connected everything that had been built up through Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, right? Because like we got Hawkeye in Thor, we got Black Widow and Iron Man 2. Like it was all just coming together in a way that no universe has really done before. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing. Amazing. But top 5 now. Number 5, Thor Ragnarok. Amazing movie. I just really wish Thor Love and Thunder was better, because that's like at the bottom of my list, and Thor Ragnarok is top 5. This movie is so freaking good. It's so good. The way they did Thor was amazing. They kept the humor, but they had the seriousness to it. We had Loki with him, and Loki's arc really just added to it and just came back in such a great way. Heimdall, Hela, I mean, it was just all so good. The Hulk, out of, comedy, but also just really good acting. And that was that the last time we got the real Hulk? Well, I guess the beginning of Infinity War when he fought, but still that whole concept, and he fought the wolf and everything like that. It was all so freaking good. And they killed off like the Warriors 3 right away. Like, man, it was just crazy that they actually did that. And, Doctor Strange is in the beginning. I left that theater going, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Still to this day. But then you have number 4, which I thought for a while was the best superhero movie. Spider-Man No Way Home. My gosh, since Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out, I loved Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Those were my movies. I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. You don't got to pick, right? Even though Tobey's my favorite, but I love them all. I mean, to see them all on screen together was incredible. Also, leading up to it, I talked so much about them being in the film, but I had 1% of doubt. But that 1% of doubt was enough for me to I was on the edge of my seat. And even if you take them away, the story for No Way Home really is great to me. And it's so emotional. He loses Aunt May. Everyone forgets who he is. He loses everything at the end. To feel like Tobey Maguire, everything. No, really, I do think the story was great. I think it had some really great action in it. The web swinging with all the 3 Spider-Men, though, so good. Just how they came onto the screen. Tobey gets stabbed, and I was like, I have one rule for Avengers and Doomsday. Tobey can't die. Secret Wars as well. Just Tobey can't die. I don't care if anybody else dies. Tobey can't die. But yeah, I mean, for a really long time, before I rewatched some other projects, I thought that this might be the best superhero movie of all time. But yeah. But number 3, The Guardians of the Galaxy. I might get emotional talking about this movie. I already am. Because this was the last Marvel movie I watched with my father before he died. And we loved it. He was really big into Marvel and everything too. He was really big into movies in general. And like Star Trek. He made me watch every episode of all the Star Treks when I was a kid. This was the last movie that we saw together, and it was a great moment for me. But overall, the movie itself is fantastic. And it's my type of humor. I talked about my type of humor. There's the way that this ragtag group of people comes together in this, and they go from kind of the crooks and everything like that to at the very end, they come together to literally save Xandar. It's awesome. And Ronan in this is crazy cool. They introduced Power Stone in this, Infinity Stones, the comedy aspect to it, and the emotion, his mom dying in the beginning, Peter take my hand, and bringing that back at the end with Gamora, but him seeing his mom, Peter take my hand. I'm getting really emotional. What can I say about this film? It's one of my favorite of all time. And the Guardians of the Galaxy became an instant classic in the MCU on screen. And it's an amazing movie. Really. You could probably guess what 2 and 1 are, but can you guess which one I put first? Number 2 for me, Avengers Endgame by a smidgen. Avengers Infinity War beats out Endgame for me by a smidgen. My cat. Hi. I'm almost done. Avengers Endgame is it's hard to say it's number 2 in all honesty, because it's the culmination of everything. And there's so many emotional moments to this. Tony Stark snapping, Natasha Romanoff dying. Natasha dying is kind of the reason that I put, not the sole reason, but a reason why I put Infinity War over it, because Natasha's in it. I really feel don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with what they did, but it would have been nice to see Natasha there at the end where all the women come together. That scene was also very forced, but I understand why they did it, and I still like the scene. It might not make any sense, strategically battle-wise, logistically, but Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, I'll just talk about them together now pretty much, because I usually group them together. They are one story, right? I feel like they're everything superhero fans could have asked for, everything we could have imagined that we got. And it was it was perfect to me, in all honesty. It really was. For Endgame to bring back all of those characters, or bring all of them together, not bring back, but bring all these characters together. The portal scene, Captain America wielding Thor's hammer and the shield. Thor with Stormbreaker fighting Thanos and his whole arc, going for the head, getting fat, that whole thing. It was really emotional. Going back in time, revisiting some previous MCU projects. Iron Man snapping. Everyone together. I mean, literally crazy. Infinity War, I think, just had, I don't know, I think just by a smidgen better scenes, like the different teams. And that was when we saw them all come together the first time. That was when Doctor Strange got together with Iron Man. My cat's walking through. And Spider-Man and the Hulk and Wong. Seeing these worlds collide was crazy. They go into space. Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man. They meet the Guardians. What master do you worship? Jesus. Why is Gamora? I mean, the action, the depth of the story, and the comedy, they're just all perfect. Perfect. Then the giant battle in Wakanda. Chadwick's there still. Dang. Get this man a shield. The Scarlet Witch losing. Vision. Thanos just being a complete boss the entire time when he's fighting the Guardians and he's fighting Iron Man and them. All that for a drop of blood. You just know how strong he is, and he wins. That's the crazy part. He wins. The Avengers lose. Then the dusting. Oh, crazy. And then again, the same story, Endgame. It's the same story. You pick up where it left off. They go to space, go for the head. What do? Tony Stark time travel. Bruce Banner helps, all this stuff. Scott helps. Scott Lang, Ant-Man. What incredible films. What an incredible end to the Infinity Saga. It is interesting going over all these, even though I have some of these, at the bottom, like, because it's a rank, you have to put one at the bottom. I've always enjoyed the MCU. Even some of the projects that I didn't find good, it's still a cool feeling watching the MCU because of what it is, because of the joy that we've had through kind of everything. I think the best is yet to come from Marvel, in all honesty, because we're about to get the X-Men and the Avengers and Fantastic Four, everyone in the same universe when the new reset comes after Secret Wars. It's been a crazy journey, and it's crazy to list all these out, in all honesty. But that's my list. Again, it's all very personal to me. I'd love to hear your list. I actually would really love to hear your list. If you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody who's been along with me through this journey and has subscribed, or if you're not subscribed, even just watched here and there. I appreciate everybody. I really do. One day I'm going to do one of these where it's based on the new MCU. We're going to do like phase 1 or phase A or something when they start over, and it's going to be crazy. But for now, with only 3 movies and a handful of other projects left in the Multiverse Saga, this is my list. Let me know where you disagree. Let me know where you agree. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.